Your boy Ruben. Let's just go ahead and dive into it. This one is for my Knicks fans, and draft was on Thursday. Frustrating draft the way they covered it, because you never knew what we had. Like we thought we had multiple players, and just to find out that we traded the pick. So I wish they find a way to communicate that information at least in a quicker, smoother fashion, so we know what's going on and less confusion. We ended up trading our 19 to 21 pick, ended up acquiring an extra first round pick in the future, and then we ended up drafting Quentin Grimes with the 25th pick. I like Quentin Grimes a lot. To me, when you look at his highlights, okay, just focus on that word, highlights. I see a lot of similarities to Devin Booker. Um, Rube, so he's going to be the next Devin Booker. No, I'm not going as far as to say he's going to be the next Devin Booker. But what I mean by certain similarities in his highlights is me and Shane used to have arguments all the time because he used to swear up and down that Tyler Hero was going to be the next Devin Booker. Their situations are the same, their size, blah, blah, blah. And we used to fight, and I used to tell him, like, Shane, just look up Devin Booker highlights, okay? And tell me that you see Tyler Hero. Like the way they get buckets completely different. They're completely different style of players, right? So with that being said, why do I see it with Quentin Grimes as opposed to Tyler Hero, of course? What I see that they get buckets similarly. They're both not superior athletes, and they both excel at an elite level in shooting the ball and getting buckets with a hand in their face. I think it's a skill that you see a lot of. Let me stop saying a lot because it's an elite skill that they have. Not everybody has it. But you'll see guys like James Harden. These are skills that you'll see guys that don't have the athleticism to develop into a different style of player. So, for instance, like it's harder for them to get to the rim. They can't play above the rim like a Jordan or Kobe or LeBron. So they have to work on getting shots off with hands in the faces. Some guys get very good at it, and some guys get elite at it. Devin Booker is an elite shooter with a hand in his face. Remember the Kawhi Leonard PG, them closing out on him as he still drained the game winner in the bubble. And if you watch the NBA playoffs, it was a Devin Booker jump shot fest in everybody's face. Everybody got it. You see a lot of those things with Quentin Grimes from three, though. You don't see it a lot in the intermediate, which is where they separate, right? Because Quentin Grimes' intermediate game is completely lacking in comparison to Devin Booker. And so, for instance, like he only shot 40%. He actually shot a better percentage from three than from two, which is what I think separates him and Devin Booker. Devin Booker was a little bit of a better ball handler. I think he's a little swiftier moving in and out of traffic than this guy is. This guy's more of a catch and shoot type of player at this point. He definitely dominated in the scrimmages where you got to see some of his bag. Where and this is where again the similarities come back. Where it's okay, I can't go necessarily by you, but I can jab step you and get my shot off quicker. If I can get you to backpedal just a little bit, I can get my shot off quick enough. And it doesn't matter that you're there. That's where the similarity is. But Devin Booker, better ball handler, quicker, probably a little more athletic, considering that he's not the most athletic than Quentin Grimes. But what I love about the New York Knicks draft in general, because then you go into the second round and we drafted, I think his name is Jonas Jokovitis. Or not. Let me take a look at what this kid's name is for you. Rokas Jokovitis, excuse me. He's going to be a drafting stash. I honestly don't know much about him other than it's been going around that he gave LaMelo Ball buckets and dropped 31 on him back when LaMelo was hooping when the Ball brothers were hooping in Lithuania, right? But after that, we got Miles McBride, complete dog, just like Quentin Grimes, and I'm gonna get into the way they play defense in a second. Actually, I'm gonna get into it right now. Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes, dogs on the defensive end. Then we also drafted Jericho Sims, another. Um, he's gonna remind you of Mitchell Robinson, lob threat, uh, paint defender, not much offensively, but what you're looking for in a guy like Mitchell Robinson is to block shots, rebound, protect the paint. This is what you got in Jericho Sims. Now, it benefits us in multiple ways. Guys like Mitchell Robinson and Jericho Sims fall down in the draft because they're limited offensively, and the league has gone into this offensive mode where a lot of these 7-footers are starting to fall down the board because they don't have that requisite athleticism because people don't value it, right? Well, we play more of an old school kind of game. So Mitchell Robinson, like, we know how to use him, and I expect Jericho Sims to play a similar position, and I'm happy to have him because when we lost Mitchell Robinson, as well as Noel played, you can tell the difference in size that we're giving up when we lost Mitchell Robinson. So we don't lose that if Mitchell Robinson goes down. And then in the future, if we have a choice to make with Mitchell Robinson, his contract's going to be up. We picked up his option. This is going to be his last year unless we re-sign him. So there's a chance that he could end up traded. And at least this way we have a bouncy center that can kind of replace the kind of production that he gives. Miles McBride, right? So back to Miles McBride. Rokas Jokovitis. He's going to be a drafting stat. So let's just throw him out the window for now. He's going to be overseas, just getting better, and then we'll revisit that in a year or two. The best picks of this draft are obviously Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride. A lot of teams at this point in the draft have a tendency to try to get guys that they feel like, okay, they'll take big swings, on guys that might have high ceilings but have really low floors. Sheriff Cooper was out there. If you're a real Knicks fan and you understand what Tom Thibodeau was looking for, I kind of knew certain guys weren't going to end up being Knicks. A lot of us were high on Trey Mann. I know that they worked out Trey Mann, but I never really thought of him as a Tibbs player. I didn't think he was going to be a Knick, and I think a lot of people might end up heartbroken if he even made it to us and found out that we weren't going to draft him anyway. But with that being said, Miles McBride, complete dog on the defensive end, will pick you up full court and can shoot. Quentin Grimes, dog on the defensive end, can shoot. We have an assistant coach, Kenny Payne, who's been known for working wonders with our guards. Look how quickly he developed last year. Look how R.J. Barrett's 3 got fixed. He had a hand in developing Donovan Mitchell. So we have a great coaching staff in place. These were high floor guys. So where I said, the rest of the NBA likes to pick high ceiling, low floor guys because, they're thinking either he hits it big or we just cut him. He's not going to make the team. The Knicks don't do this. They actually drafted guys that are useful because they're high floor guys because at worst, Quentin Grimes will be a very good 3-and-D guy. Okay, if nothing else, he'll always be able to shoot the 3 and he can play good defense. Same thing with Miles McBride. So if he ends up just being, the replacement to Frank Ntilikina as a guard off the bench, that's what they drafted him in the second round for. But if things go well and these guys, develop, you're looking at a very good point guard and a very good 2 guard. And with Quentin Grimes' ability to basically hit shots from anywhere on the perimeter, if you can get him to figure out his interior game and how to play a little bit smarter with his ability to rebound, both their abilities to rebound for guards, you got something here. Okay. At worst, these guys will be useful players. Now, with that being said, we did end up, trading 19th pick for a future first-round pick. I do get the feeling that we're gearing up for a major move. The only question I have is it going to be this year or is it going to be next year? And so let's stay open-minded, Knicks fans, and I'm going to say some things that you guys probably aren't going to want to hear, okay? But obviously you pick up the option on Julius Randle. We need a superstar in New York. Okay. I'm trading any and everything for Damian Lillard. No, I said that wrong. I'll trade anything, but not everything. Okay. I don't want to relive the Carmelo Anthony incident again, where we gave up everything and then it took a while and then it just never quite gelled, right? We have a lot of talent on this team now, because when you consider the way Julius Randle developed, the way Mitchell Robinson's been developing, look at RJ Barrett's development. You saw how quickly he looked. You saw we got Obi Toppin last year, who was a promising player and who's kind of been relegated to the bench because of Julius Randle. So we got talent here, and now you add Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride and Jericho Sims to that. And then, we had a Euro guy last year that should get some minutes this year, and Luca Vildoza. So it just feels like they're gathering talent, and I'm in the camp of, if it's going to cost everything for Damian Lillard, just keep acquiring assets. We have $50 million in cap room, not by far, but we have the most cap room in the NBA, excuse me. If it's going to cost everything, then just keep stacking. Okay, you can get Lonzo Ball for 18 to 20 million. You can get probably Spencer Dinwiddie for around the same range. What I don't want to see them do is break the bank for Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, those kind of players, unless they're going to give us, like 1-and-1 player options or flexibility. Because what we want to do is, this isn't the greatest free agency year, but next year, if he doesn't declare for a trade and sign an extension, you got Bradley Beal. There's potential for Kawhi Leonard. There's just, next year's a better free agency than this year's draft, free agency period. So this is what I want to pre-warn you guys about, right? A lot of guys have it in their head that, hey, maybe we can pair Lillard with Julius Randle. I actually think it's probably going to cost Julius Randle to get Lillard. That's just what I think. He's our best asset, combined with, some first round picks and everything, right? And I'm okay with that if that happens. And why am I okay with that? Because I know some of y'all are probably scoffing. It's because if you trade for Damian Lillard and you have a package that revolves around Julius Randle, I feel like I'm a guy that's high on Obi Toppin. I feel like Obi Toppin might even be a better fit to play next to a Damian Lillard than a Julius Randle would. So, for instance, Damian Lillard is a kind of guy that he comes down, hits threes, gets, he likes to move around, like the ball's got to move. You know what I'm saying? And he holds the ball a lot. Okay, his usage rate is up there. Julius Randle had one of the highest usage rates last year. I don't see him as a guy that's going to be as valuable with a lower usage rate. And I'm not sure how they'll, if they can pull it off, great. But I think Obi Toppin is a cheaper option. He can still, he can stretch the floor. He's a lob threat. He can provide you a lot of things that Julius Randle just couldn't do in terms of athleticism. Now, obviously, there's a drop-off on the offensive end because he's not going to be the scorer that Julius Randle is, but that's not to say that he can't develop that because he has the tool. He's actually a little bit bigger, I think, or taller than Julius Randle, right? But he has a lot of the same bag, with the exception of Julius Randle's just a bucket. He's not going to be that kind of guy, but he provides you something different. If you keep him, if you keep him, I would definitely fight to keep, like an RJ Barrett. It might cost you quickly, or there's a number of things that it can cost you, right? I don't want to break down every simple scenario, but the idea here is, guys, if you get rid of Julius Randle in a trade to acquire Damian Lillard, you still maintain cap flexibility. So next year, you still have enough cap room to sign another star. Bradley Beal's available. So raise your hand if you'll take a Bradley Beal and Damian Lillard, because I would. So those are just kind of my thoughts as far as the way they kicked the can down to down to next year. They punted that down to next year by making a trade with the Charlotte Hornets. So now the next couple drafts they're always going to have 2 first-round picks. They keep acquiring talent, or you can't get Lillard now. Don't sell the farm. Sign Lonzo Ball. Sign a Spencer Dinwiddie. See if you can get Derrick Rose back. Just don't commit too many years to a guy that's not going to contribute or not hold value. Make sure you're acquiring value in a guy that can easily be moved within the next year or so if you see the right move. And that's the kind of thing that I think the Knicks are working on. Maybe the Trailblazers would be more amenable in a year to a trade for like Alonzo Ball or a package that surrounds Alonzo Ball, multiple firsts, and maybe quickly, right? So what they've done looks to me as, let's say we lose quickly, we have a bucket getter in Quentin Grimes. They score differently, but obviously there's a plan, there's a vision for the future. If we don't make a move for a star now, we still have very good we're still fielding a very good team. And if we do and we lose certain guys, we kind of have guys to replace the ones that we're probably going to end up having to give up. I would imagine, somebody that we love in New York is going to be gone. Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, they're both going to be up for contracts. That's all I got for now, guys. Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm definitely going to respond. Hit me up, DMs, comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow the Another Level Sports channel on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Peace.